guys, I hope you're ready for spring because I know I am. And here's a spring makeup tutorial. So let's jump right in. So spring brings a lot of great weather and time outdoors, so you want to make sure that you're moisturizing your face with an SPF. And then I'm just priming my face with Prime Time from Bare Minerals. And for my eye primer, I'm just using Thank Me Later by Elizabeth Mott. I usually use my Wet n Wild Fergie Edition primer, but this is what I had at hand, so I'm going to use this. And for the concealer, of course, I'm very predictable. It's Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 10. I rarely use liquid foundation, so I tend to use my concealer more of like my foundation in a way. So I cover up any of the sunspots that I see, and then I go ahead and just blend all that in because I'm going to set my face with a powder foundation. Powder foundation is something I gravitate towards more because I do have an oily T-zone and I do live in a hotter climate, so I do get a little bit of oiliness there, and I tend to stick with the powder, something that's going to keep me matte throughout the whole entire day. Also, to set my under eyes, I use the RCMA No Color Powder, which is really great because I do also set the forehead and the nose and just where I get the oily areas to make sure I'm matte throughout the whole entire day. And then to even out all of my skin and make sure I'm setting all of that concealer, I'm buffing in this powder foundation, which I really love. It's really light and it doesn't cake up on my face, which is great. Especially in the hot weather, if you smear it, it just doesn't come off and it tends to stay on my face pretty long time. To sculpt our cheekbones, I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I'm just using these two shades right here. Just sculpting my cheekbones and bringing it upwards to my temples and my forehead. And with darker colors like this, you also want to make sure you're always blending it out very well. I like to go back with my powder brush and making sure everything is really nicely blended in and I don't have any like muddy looking cheeks. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. If you guys want a separate tutorial, I would definitely go ahead and do that for you guys, but I'll skip over this part quickly. I did get this brow gel from BH Cosmetics, which I am in love with because it just keeps my eyebrows in place all day. So now starting for the eyes, I'm going to reach for the shadow, which is from the Modern Mattes by BH Cosmetics palette. I just have them depotted in this palette right now. It's just a very light rosy mauve color. And we're going to gradually build on that, and I'm going to bring in a little bit more brown tones here. The next color I'm building on is Creme Brulee by Makeup Geek. And we're just going to put that in our crease, but I'm going to keep it a little bit lower than our first color and creating more of a depth in our crease. At the very top, I decided I want a little bit more of a blended look and not as pink tone. So I went with Peaches and Cream from Makeup Geek and just kind of created this very light transition shade and making sure everything's blended out very nicely. With a more defined brush, I went in with the color Frappe and just kind of creating a little bit more of the depth in the crease. And I'm keeping this color pretty low in the crease. Then I'm just taking a very big fluffy brush and making sure I don't have any harsh lines and just making sure all the colors are blended in and just on point. I went back into the Creme Brulee, I just dabbed just a little bit of the color and wanted to bring more of that little bit of a brown tone to the top. For the inner corner, I really wanted to do something very bright, very shimmery, and this is BH Party Girl in the color Star from BH Cosmetics. So I got this shadow from the Ipsy bag. This is a Manicadar Beauty, and I wasn't really too impressed by it, so I actually am going to put a different color over this. I just want something much more intense, so we're going to go ahead and put a different color on top of this. I'm going to use this Wild at Heart palette by BH Cosmetics, and we're going to take this very nice shimmery pink color. I did wet my brush just to get the full intense pigmentation that I want on the lid. I did want a little bit more of a peachy tone, so I did go into this palette. This is the 6th edition by BH Cosmetics. But then I totally remembered that I have a perfect color, which is in this Wild Child palette by BH Cosmetics as well. And it's this center peach color. It's very pretty, very shimmery, so I'm going to apply that all over my lid. I'm going to use a wet brush as well to get the full pigment out of it. With a little bit of Frappe on this brush, I just kind of blended everything in, just make sure there's no harsh lines. I also wanted to darken out the outer corner just to create a little bit more depth. So I'm using the color Bitten by Makeup Geek, but I'm only applying it to the outer corner of the eyes. Then of course you want to take a big blending brush and make sure everything is blended. Moving on to the lower lash line, I'm using this Urban Decay 24/7 Velvet eyeliner in the color Plushy. We're going to apply that to the lower lash line. We're just going to keep it very tightly to the lash line. So the next thing is we're going to take this Wild at Heart palette and we're going to take this nice deep purple color and we're just going to smoke out the bottom. Not too much, but I want like a very precise line in a way. So we're just going to smoke all that out, and of course I'm going to get off the frame. I'm going to take that shadow and I'm also going to drag that off to the kind of corner, creating a very mini wing in a way. And also going to tie that in and bring into the upper outer corner of our eye. Not too much, but just to blend everything out and tie it all together. So back to our face for the highlighting. In the Wild and Radiant palette, we're taking the top right highlight and I'm going to apply that to the cheekbones, to the temples, not the temples, to the high parts of our brow bone. There you go. A little bit of our nose and the cupid's bow. Next up is the blush. I'm using two colors. I'm using a darker color for the bottom part and a lighter color for the apples of the cheeks. This is the new BH Cosmetics Nude Blush Palette. Next up are our lashes. I'm just putting on some mascara. This is the Rocket Volume Mascara. And for the lashes, I'm using the Cara lashes. These are from shopmissa.com. I will link it down below. These are the 415s. I have already used them and kind of grunged them up a little bit because I want to create a very kind of a messy, wispy type look. Also, if you guys want a tutorial on how to apply lashes, I will link it down below for you guys. I already filmed that. And for the lips, I'm using ColourPop Midi, the Ultra Matte lipsticks, liquid lipsticks. And I kind of want a little bit more of a pinkier tone, so I'm adding, this is Endora by BH Cosmetics, just a little bit to add a little bit more of the rosiness to it. And on top, I'm just putting a lip gloss. This lip gloss is actually from Victoria's Secret, which is pretty old, but it has like a little duochrome effect, so I really liked it. And that is the complete look. I hope you guys really like this tutorial. I will be doing several more spring looks, so let me know down below on any maybe colors or styles you would like to see in the next video. Also, if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.